Hi, love bugs. Today we're going to be decomposing our teen numbers again as 10 ones and some more ones. Today we're going to do that to compare our teen numbers. We will compare our teen numbers by looking at the leftover ones in the number. Before we get into our learning target today, we're going to go over our fluency. Let's start with our dot cards of 8. How many do you see? 8. How do you see the two parts? Some people may have seen this part here as a group of 5, and this group here as a group of 3. Can you tell me what this would be as a number sentence? We would say 5 and 3 make 8. Good job. Let's look at our next dot card. How many do you see? 8. How do you see the two parts? You could see these parts in many different ways. If someone said, I see a group of 1 and 7, what would that number sentence be? Good job. We could say 8 is 1 plus 7. Kiss your brains. What a great job you're doing with our dot cards. Now let's look at our teen numbers. I'm going to point to the teen numbers. As we count up the teen numbers, we're going to count them the say 10 way. So if I point to the 11, you would say 10, 1. Ready? Count the say 10 way. 10, 1, 10, 2, Excellent job. I should have heard 10, 1, 10, 2, 10, 3, 10, 4, 10, 5, 10, 6, 10, 7, 10, 8, 10, 9, 2 10s. Great job, Cardinals. Look at these numbers. Can you tell me what's the same in all of these numbers? Can you tell me what's different? In each of these numbers, the tens place is marked by a 1, but the 1 doesn't mean 1. What does the 1 mean? Yes, it means 10. What is different about these numbers? The numbers in the ones place. The numbers in the ones place change. These are our sum ones, or our leftovers. Before we start comparing our teen numbers, let's be mathematician magicians and use our story problem to help us compare sets that are not our groups of teens. Let's look at our story and figure out what is important in the story. Lisa has 5 pennies in her hand. Did you hear something important? Yes, 5 pennies in her hand and 2 in her pocket. Did you hear something important? 2 in her pocket. Let's keep reading. Matt has 6 pennies in his hand. Yes, 6 pennies in his hand is important. And 2 in his pocket. 2 in his pocket is important. Now let's listen to our question. Who has fewer pennies, Lisa or Matt? Fewer is an important word in our question. Remember, fewer means less. They want to know who has less, Matt or Lisa. Let's look at Lisa. How many pennies did Lisa have in her hand? 5. She had 5 pennies in her hand. Let's put 5 pennies by Lisa's hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How many did she have in her pocket? 2. 1, 2. How many pennies does Lisa have all together? I see 5 and 2. What does 5 and 2 make? 7. Good job. Let's look at Matt. How many pennies does Matt have in his hand? Matt has 6 pennies in his hand. So let's put 6 pennies under his hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. How many are in his pocket? 2. 1, 2. How many does Matt have all together? Well, he has 6 and 2. What does 6 and 2 make? 8. Who has fewer or less? Lisa. How do you know? Lisa has 7 pennies in her pocket. 7 is less than 8. So Lisa has less. If I look at the pennies in Lisa's hand, she only has 5. If I look at the pennies in Matt's hand, he has 6. I can't compare the pennies in the pockets because that's the same amount. But if I compare the pennies in their hands, I see that Lisa has fewer pennies than Matt. So 7 is fewer than or less than 8. Great job, Cardinals. Let's look back at the concepts of less and more. Remember, less is fewer than. We say less means not as much. Let's look at this guy with blocks. He has 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks. He has less blocks than this guy. He has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he has more or a greater amount. Remember, more means that he has some left over. It goes up higher, it takes up more space, and there's some left over. If you have less, it's not as much. It doesn't go up as high, and there's nothing left over. Do you remember that criteria when we were comparing what is less and what is more? Great job, Cardinals. Now let's use less and more to compare our teen numbers. Let's look at these number bonds. When I want to know my missing parts, I need to break them up into a group of 10 ones and some left over. Let's look at our very first number bond. Let's count our group of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here is my group of 10. How many are left over? 3. So my two parts are 10 and 3. What is my whole amount? 13. Now let's look at our next group. I have my group of 10, which will be one part. And then I have my leftovers. How many are left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is my other part. How many do I have all together? 10, 5 makes 15. I want to compare these the same 10 way. I see 10, 3, 10, 5. Which number is more or greater? I see here that there are only 3 leftover ones. Here there are 5 leftover ones. This 10 and this 10 are exactly the same. So just like Matt and Lisa's pockets, I can't compare the 10s to figure out which amount is greater. They're exactly the same. So I need to focus on what is left over. Whichever number is more or greater with my leftover ones makes the whole team number more, makes the whole team number greater. Here, my leftovers are 3. In 15, my leftovers are 5. 5 is more than 3. So 15 is greater than 13. Let's look at some more. I have 10, 1. What is 10, 1 the teen number way? 11. I have 10, 5. What is 10, 5 the teen number way? 15. Which is more? Well, can I compare this part and this part? No way, Miss McKay. Those two parts are exactly the same. I can't compare them to figure out which is more, because teen numbers always have a group of 10. Where do I need to look? I need to look at the leftovers. I have 1 leftover in 11. I have 5 leftover in 15. Which is more, 1 or 5? 5 is more than 1. So I know if 5 is more than 1, 15 is more than 11. Can you compare the next set? I see 10, 4. What's the whole amount? 14. I see 10, 1. What's the whole amount? 11. Can you tell your parents why you can't use this part to compare? That's right. Kiss your brains. You can't use this part 10, 10 to compare because a group of 10 and a group of 10 are exactly the same. What do you have to look at to compare team numbers? The leftover ones. You have to see which group has more in the leftover ones. How many are left over? Here. 4. How many are left over? Here. 1. Which amount is more, 4 or 1? 4. So 14 is more than 11 because 14 has 4 in the ones place. Which one is less or not as much? 11 is less than 14 because 11 has 1 left over in the ones place. 1 is less than 4, so 11 is less than 14. I understand if this is a little tricky and a little confusing. Just remember, we're not using the tens to compare because that's always the same. We have to look at what is sitting in the leftover ones place. Once we look at the leftover ones place, we need to decide which number in the leftover ones place is more. If that number is more, then that teen number is greater. If that number is less, then that teen number is fewer. But let's look at this problem. I see 10, 7. I see 10, 7. What can you tell me about these teen numbers? Which one's more? Which one's less? What do you mean? Neither of them are more. Neither of them are less? Why not? Because they are exactly the same. When numbers are exactly the same cardinals, what do we call them? Equal. 17 and 17 are exactly the same. They both have 7 ones left over. So they are equal or exactly the same. Can you figure out the leftover ones in these problems? I've already pulled out your group of tens. Let's compare these the say 10 way to find which is less. I see a group of 10 and some leftovers. How many are left over in this problem? Good job, 9. I see a group of 10 and leftovers. How many are left over in this problem? 6. Can you put your finger on the number bond that is less? Did you put your finger on this number bond? Can you explain to your parents how you knew this was less? Excellent job. We know that this number bond is less because it has a 6 in the ones place. 6 is less than 9. So this number bond is less. Can you tell me the teen number to go with this number bond? 16. Can you tell me the teen number to go with this number bond? 19. Can you tell me a complete sentence to tell me which is less? Compare. 16 is less than 19. 19 is more than 16. Great job, Cardinals. Kiss your brains. Now let's look at some pictures. We're going to circle the groups of 10 to try to figure out which is less or more. Let's start off by comparing our erasers and our pencils. Look at our erasers. Let's find and circle our group of 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circle it. How many are left over? 2. I see 10, 2. Let's count our group of 10 pencils. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many are left over? 3. 10, 3. Which is more, the erasers or the pencils? There are more pencils than erasers because there are 2 leftover erasers and 3 leftover pencils. Great job, Cardinals. Let's look at the next one to figure out which is less. We want to compare our sandwiches and our milks to figure out which we have less of. Let's count out and circle our group of 10 sandwiches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circle it. How many are left over? 1. 10, 1. Let's count our milk. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circle our group of 10. How many are left over? 4. 10, 4. Which has less left over? 10, 1 or 10, 4? 10, 1. There are less sandwiches than milks because 1 is less than 4. Great job. Let's look at our last problem. We are to compare baseballs and gloves. Let's find and circle our group of 10 baseballs. 1, hold on a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Here's my group of 10 baseballs. That's kind of hard to do on the computer because it's so tiny. Let's see if I can count it again for you. Let's use a smaller pencil and see if it works. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have a group of 10 baseballs and some left overs. Oops, gotta get that one in there. You have to be careful counting, especially when they're so little. How many baseballs are left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I have 10, 6 baseballs, how many do I have the teen number with? 16. Good job. Now let's find our group of 10 gloves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circle our group of 10. Now remember, we have to do it carefully, especially when the pictures are little. How many are left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What's the team number for 10, 6? 16. Compare. Which group has more? What? Neither of them. How do you know? Because they're exactly the same. They don't have more, they don't have less. They are equal. The 6 in the ones place is exactly the same. I am so proud of you. Maybe you can pause the video. If you have this page, you can practice doing this on your page. If you don't, then you can just count on the computer. You count out your groups of 10, circle your groups of 10, find your leftovers. How many do you have? Then, which group has less? Put a check in the box of the group that has less. Let's count the apples. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many left over? 5. So we have 15. 10, 5 is 15. How many oranges? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10. How many left over? 2. What is 10 to? 12. Compare. Yes, 12 is less than 15 because the 2 is less than 5. Great job, Cardinals. Now let's count how many spoons. Let's compare the spoons and the forks. Find and circle our group of 10 spoons. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's a group of 10. Let's see how many are left over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 10, 9 spoons. What is this number the teen number way? Remember, hide the 0. 19. How many forks do we have? Let's count. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's our group of 10. How many are left over? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 10, 8 forks. what is the teen number amount? Hide the 0. 10 8 is 18. Great job. Now let's make our sentence true. 19 is more or less than 18. Where do we need to look? At the ones place. 9 is more than 8. So 19 is more than 18. Great job today, Cardinals. Can you tell your parents why 11 is less than 15? What was today's lesson about? It was about comparing our teen numbers by looking at the leftover ones. Maybe you can find some small things around your house. You can count out how many and compare what is more and what is less by looking at the ones place when you write the numbers. Great job with your teen numbers today, Cardinals. I know today was something new, maybe a little bit tricky, but I just want you to keep trying your best. You're super smart. I am proud of you. I'll see you tomorrow.